Ave Maria, welcome back to No Apologies. Today we're going to take a look at one of the Old Testament types of Our Lady, and that is the Ark of the Covenant. The old Ark of the Covenant was a prefigurement or a foreshadowing of Our Lady, who is the new Ark of the Covenant. If we can understand this, we can find support for three of our Marian beliefs. The first one that I would like to talk about is the Divine Maternity. If you look at the old Ark of the Covenant, you'll find that within it, it contained three things. And each of those three things was a prefigurement or a foreshadowing of our Lord Himself. The first one was the Ten Commandments, God's written word etched in stone, a foreshadowing of our Lord, who was the Word Himself, the Word made flesh, who spoke with His own lips. The second thing that we find in the Ark of the Covenant is the manna, which God fed to the Israelites during their journey through the desert. This was the food which He sustained them for their journey, gave them strength to get to the Promised Land. This is a foreshadowing of the Eucharist, which as Catholics we profess is the living Christ alive and on earth today, and which is our strength to get us through the journey to get to heaven. The third thing which we find in the old Ark of the Covenant is the rod of Aaron. If you look at the book of Numbers in chapter 17, you'll find a story with Moses and Aaron and the Israelites. And the Israelites are rebelling and grumbling against Moses and Aaron. And there is a rebel who has gained some power. And Moses consults the Lord and asks what should be done. And the Lord tells him and tells Aaron to get a staff from each of the tribes of Israel and bring them to the meeting tent. And so Moses does that. And he also places the staff of Aaron in the meeting tent. Well, in the morning when they go to the meeting tent to look at the staffs, they see that Aaron's staff has actually sprouted and has grown almonds. And Moses takes that staff and holds it to the Israelites and says, "This is the one whom the Lord has chosen, whom He has given His authority." Aaron was the high priest. And so we see that the staff of Aaron is a foreshadowing of the eternal high priest, who is our Lord. So those three things within the Ark of the Covenant were a foreshadowing of our Lord. And those three things were all contained inside the Ark of the Covenant. So, as the Ark of the Covenant is a foreshadowing of Our Lady, we look to her as the new Ark. Within Our Lady contained our Lord Himself, the Word made flesh, His Eucharistic flesh, which we would share at communion, and the eternal High Priest Himself, all contained within Our Lady. The second teaching that we can find support for when we look at the old Ark of the Covenant is the Immaculate Conception. The Immaculate Conception is the teaching that Our Lady is free from all stain of sin, original sin. If you look at the Ark of the Covenant, we find that our Lord gave specific instructions that the Ark was to be plated with pure gold within and without. Pure gold is gold that has no dross, no contaminations, no stain of anything. So Our Lady, in her body and in her soul, was made with the purest of flesh and with the purest of souls, without stain of original sin. The third point, which we would look at, is the Perpetual Virginity. If we look at the Ark of the Covenant, we remember that our Lord gave specific instructions that no one was to touch the Ark of the Covenant. And if you remember the story of Uzzah, who reached out and did touch the Ark when it was stumbling from the ox, we recall that our Lord struck him dead right there on the spot. Well, this corresponds to Our Lady's Perpetual Virginity, who no man ever touched, but yet she was with child. She gave birth to child, and she remained a virgin for her whole life. So if we look at the Old Testament Ark of the Covenant, we can see a definite foreshadowing of our Blessed Mother. And I hope that you join me again next time as we look at some other Old Testament types of Our Lady. Ave Maria.